Why are you so tired? You slept 8 hours. You haven't run a marathon. You haven't fought a war. Yet, you wake up exhausted and you go to bed exhausted. It is not physical fatigue. It is something much worse. You are not tired because you are doing too much. You are tired because you are doing too little of what matters. Your brain is being fried by a constant stream of cheap dopamine. Scrolling, consuming, watching. You are trapped in a cycle of passive consumption that drains your soul while your body sits still. The modern world is designed to keep you sedated. A sedated population is easy to control. A sedated man does not revolt. In this video, we will expose the trap of comfort, and I will show you why the only way to get your energy back is to stop choosing the easy path, the dopamine flood. Your brain is running on outdated software. It was designed for a world that no longer exists. A world of scarcity, danger, and immediate physical consequences. For 200,000 years, the equation of human life was simple. Effort preceded reward. If you wanted to eat, you had to hunt. If you wanted warmth, you had to gather wood. If you wanted shelter, you had to build it. Dopamine was the biological currency that kept you moving. It was the fuel for the pursuit, released only when you made progress toward a survival goal. It was hard-earned, and it was rare. But today, you have hacked the code. You have broken the fundamental law of nature. You live in an environment of infinite, unearned abundance. You wake up, reach for your phone, and before your feet even touch the floor, you have flooded your brain with more dopamine than your ancestors experienced in a month. Social media notifications, shocking headlines, pornography, sugar, video games. These are what biologists call supernormal stimuli. They are artificial triggers exaggerated to such a degree that your primitive brain cannot resist them. The problem is not that you are weak. The problem is that you are overwhelmed. When you bombard your neural pathways with high-intensity pleasure without any effort, your brain reacts in the only way it knows how. It downregulates. It burns out its own receptors to protect itself from the noise. This is why you feel a persistent, low-level numbness. This is why simple tasks feel agonizingly difficult. You are not physically tired. You are chemically exhausted. You are suffering from a dopamine crash that never ends because you never stop hitting the button. You are a lab rat in a cage of your own making, pressing the lever for pellets until you starve to death. And the worst part? You think this is relaxation. You think scrolling for 3 hours is resting. But it is actually the most draining activity you can possibly do. The comfort crisis. We are living in the most physically comfortable era in human history, yet we are witnessing an epidemic of exhaustion. On paper, you should be bursting with energy. You do not have to trek miles for water. It flows from a tap. You do not have to hunt for food. It is delivered to your door. You do not have to endure the freezing cold. You simply adjust a thermostat. By all logical metrics, you are living in a paradise of conservation. So why do you feel like you are dying? The answer lies in a biological principle you have ignored. Humans are anti-fragile. We do not just endure stress. We require it to function. When you remove all resistance from your life, you do not enter a state of preservation. You enter a state of decay. Think of an astronaut in zero gravity. Without the stress of gravity pulling on their bones, their body dissolves. Their muscles atrophy, their bone density drops, and their heart weakens. This is exactly what is happening to you on Earth. You have engineered a life of zero gravity for your mind and spirit. You avoid difficult conversations, you avoid physical exertion, you avoid temperature extremes, and you avoid boredom. You have built a padded cell of convenience, and your body has received the signal that it is no longer needed. Why should your body produce testosterone, adrenaline, or focus if all you do is sit in a climate-controlled box and consume soft content? Energy is not something you hoard. It is something you generate through demand. If there is no demand, there is no supply. This is the great trap of modern comfort. It masquerades as rest, but it is actually a slow-motion suicide of your vitality. You think you are recharging by lying on the couch for 6 hours, but you're actually signaling to your nervous system that the battle is over. And when the battle is over, the warrior goes to sleep. To wake him up, you must introduce the very thing you have been avoiding: friction, the attention economy. While you are exhausting yourself trying to survive the day, there is a war being fought for your mind. You assume that when you open a social media app, you are the customer. You assume that the platform exists to serve you, to entertain you, or to connect you with friends. This is the single greatest lie of the 21st century. You are not the customer. You are the product. You are the raw material being mined, processed, and sold to the highest bidder. The true customer is the advertiser, and what they are buying is your life force, minute by minute. Every time you scroll, stop, or click, you are feeding a supercomputer with data points that allow it to build a digital voodoo doll of your psyche. The algorithm knows your insecurities better than your partner does. It knows what makes you angry, what makes you lustful, and what makes you buy. It does not care about your well-being. It has one singular goal: maximize time on device. If making you depressed keeps you scrolling, it will make you depressed. If making you outraged keeps you commenting, it will show you content that makes your blood boil. This constant extraction of your attention leaves you with a spiritual deficit. You feel empty because you are empty. You've been hollowed out by a machine that trades your focus for ad revenue. You're trying to drive a car with an empty fuel tank because the fuel has been siphoned off by Silicon Valley engineers who are paid millions of dollars to figure out how to bypass your willpower. You are not tired because you are broken. You are tired because you are being harvested. Passive versus active leisure. Most men today have forgotten the art of rest. You believe that after a long day of work, the best way to recover is to do absolutely nothing. You collapse onto the couch, turn on the television, and let images wash over you for hours. You call this unwinding. But biologically, you are not unwinding. You are dissociating. This is what we call passive leisure. It is consumption without participation. Your eyes are taking in data, your brain is processing narratives, but your body is stagnant and your will is asleep. This creates a state of sensory mismatch. Your mind is racing while your body is dead. This is why you can binge watch a series for 5 hours and feel more exhausted than when you started. Compare this to the habits of history's most powerful men. Winston Churchill painted. Theodore Roosevelt boxed and hunted. These men understood active leisure. They knew that energy is not recovered by turning the machine off, but by switching the mode of operation. Active leisure requires effort. It requires you to read, to write, to train, to build, or to solve a problem. It sounds counterintuitive. Why expend energy to get energy? Because the human engine runs on momentum. When you engage in active leisure, you enter a flow state. You silence the chaotic noise of the world and focus your mind on a single task. This is meditative. It clears the cortisol from your system and replaces it with the deep satisfaction of competence. Passive leisure makes you a spectator in your own life. Active leisure makes you a participant. If you want to stop feeling like a ghost in a machine, you must stop consuming and start creating. You must trade the cheap comfort of the screen for the difficult joy of the real world. The purpose deficit. There is a final darker layer to your exhaustion that no amount of sleep can fix. It is not biological, and it is not digital. It is spiritual. I do not mean this in a religious sense, but in a psychological one. A man without a mission is a man without energy. The human brain is a goal-seeking mechanism. It is designed to solve problems, to conquer territory, and to protect a tribe. When you strip away these drivers, when you live a life of safety, routine, and aimless wandering, your brain flips a switch. It stops generating energy because it sees no reason to waste it. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you're doing too little of what matters. You are suffering from a purpose deficit. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how, but you have no why." You wake up, you go to a job you tolerate, you come home, you distract yourself, and you repeat. There is no great battle in your life. There is no dragon to slay. And because there is no danger and no destiny, your body goes into hibernation mode. This is often misdiagnosed as depression, but it is actually a protective mechanism. Your body is saving its resources for a future that never comes. You feel lethargic because you have no destination. If I told you right now that your house was on fire, or that you had 1 hour to earn $1 million to save a loved one, your exhaustion would vanish instantly. The energy is there. It is locked behind a wall of apathy. You do not need more sleep. You need something to wake up for. The Detox Protocol. You now understand the trap. You see the invisible bars of the cage. The question is, how do you escape? You do not escape by trying harder. You escape by radically changing your environment. You must perform a factory reset on your brain. We call this the Detox Protocol. It is not comfortable, but it is necessary. Step 1 is the hardest, the 24-hour dopamine fast. For 1 full day, you remove all supernormal stimuli. No phone, no computer, no music, no junk food, no talking. Just you, water, a notebook, and your own thoughts. It will be agonizing. You will feel bored, anxious, and irritable. Good. That is the sound of your addiction dying. That is your brain screaming for its fix. You must starve the parasite to kill it. Step 2. Introduce voluntary friction. Start every morning with something you hate. A cold shower, a run in the rain, a difficult reading session. You need to recalibrate your pain tolerance. When you voluntarily choose discomfort, the rest of the day becomes easy by comparison. You are training your brain to stop fearing effort. Step 3. Reclaim the bookends of your day. The first hour after waking and the last hour before sleeping are sacred. If you look at a screen during these times, you have already lost. Replace the screen with silence. Look out a window. Write down your plans. Remind your brain that you are the pilot, not the passenger. This is not about becoming a monk. It is about regaining the ability to choose what you pay attention to. Until you can sit in a room alone for 30 minutes without reaching for your pocket, you are not free. Awakening. You have a choice to make right now. In a few seconds, this video will end. The algorithm, desperate to keep you in the loop, will immediately suggest another video. It will offer you another hit of dopamine, another distraction, another reason to stay seated and sedated. If you click it, you have learned nothing. You have simply consumed information about waking up while remaining asleep. This is the ultimate irony of the modern age. We binge-watch content about self-improvement while our own lives stagnate. Do not let this be just another piece of content you consumed today. Let this be the line in the sand. The exhaustion you feel is not a medical condition. It is a signal. It is your soul screaming that it is suffocating under the weight of comfort. It is telling you that you were built for more than this digital purgatory. You were built to struggle, to create, and to conquer. The world wants you tired. A tired man buys products to feel better. A tired man votes for safety over freedom. A tired man does not ask difficult questions. To reclaim your energy is an act of rebellion. It is the most dangerous thing you can do. So, I challenge you. Do not scroll down. Do not watch the next video. Put the device down. Walk out the door. Look at the sky. Feel the cold air. Remind yourself that you are alive and that your energy belongs to you, not to the machine. The cage door is open. All you have to do is walk out, and you are finally awake.